I think you guys are really gonna like this. I think it's safe to say that with this virus about and the isolation that's come with it, a lot of us have had way more time to watch movies. Now, I'm guessing my girlfriend Liz discovered that there are more films on Netflix than just Peter Rabbit because she recommended me this one, The Impossible. Now, of course, after letting me know for the 58th time how great Peter Rabbit is in her opinion, she then went on to tell me that this was one of Tom Holland's pre-Spider-Man movies. So of course this had my attention. I'm a big fan of Tom Holland. But then the deal was sealed when she said that Ewan McGregor also stars in this. And I mean, like, yes, I love both Tom Holland and Ewan McGregor, but you put them together and I'm there. That's an audience seat fill. Or in this case, my bed, because I don't have any chairs. So I did a little research first just to find out the background of the movie, as most normal people do, right? Okay, as I tend to do myself. And I read that this film was based on a true story. I like films that are true stories. Just look at Fargo. So I was ready. I sat down to watch this thing. Now, warning for those who don't want to be spoiled, there are spoilers ahead. So this tells the true story of the Bennett family. This takes place in 2004, and as a Christmas treat, they fly out to Khao Lak in Thailand, where they intend on spending the holiday season. And I guess you could say they're a fairly relatable working class family, husband and wife who love each other very much, some mischievous boys. And they're gonna spend their time at a really lush resort with a nice big pool. And it's very peaceful, and the music is very minimal, and it feels very real, feels very much like you're there. One thing I really praised here was the sound design. Like when it's at the lull and everything's fine, it sounds like a real holiday resort. Like, I don't know, it just feels like you're there, and the lack of music really helps that. And now it's Boxing Day, Christmas Day's been and gone, they're having the time of their lives in the pool, splish splosh, fun times. But wait a minute, we all remember what happened on Boxing Day 2004 in Thailand, right? Water starts coming from the sea, and then more of it, greater mass, greater force, wham bam, it's a tsunami. And again, the filmmaking is so good here, it feels so real. This doesn't feel like a Hollywood blockbuster tsunami, this feels like you're actually there and it's an actual tsunami. Again, they were disciplined enough not to use music here and just to use the diegetic audio in the scene. And the sound design in this film is absolutely superb. And the visuals and everything that go with it, you really feel that sense of this was just a peaceful thing and this just came out of nowhere. That holiday resort felt so real and then bam, now it's gone, now it's just this boggy wasteland. Like, hats off to the director and editors and the sound design people, this was superb. But now the movie has only just begun. So obviously the tsunami has carried the family all different ways apart from each other, and it's safe to assume that everybody's dead. But Maria, the mother played by Naomi Watts, and her son Lucas played by Tom Holland have survived, and have managed to find each other. Now Lucas in this film is only 12 years old, Tom Holland I'd imagine is a little bit older than that at this stage. As of the time of playing this role, he would have been about 14, 15 years old. But this 14 approximately years old Tom Holland has all of the dignity and gravitas of a very seasoned veteran actor. This is probably one of the best child performances I've seen. And Tom Holland is pretty much used to his full ability. He's very much the central protagonist of this story. And Tom Holland started out as a theater actor who had to do a lot of dancing, a lot of very high pressure acting, and he lends himself very well here. Even though he was a kid when he played this role still demanded a certain athleticism, a certain physique. As they're really not just wading through water here. There's a moment where he rather strenuously has to rescue this other child who he's never met before, but he's devoted to rescuing him when Naomi Watts really just wants to move on so she can find the others. And through Tom Holland and Naomi Watts' performance, you can really feel how strenuous and exhausting this is. But this is also helped by the other elements of production as well. The makeup team knocked it out of the park with this, as Tom Holland and Naomi Watts are seriously bloodied up. There's this shot where I almost kind of had to look away, where Naomi Watts' leg is just gaping open, like you can see it's flopped down, gravity's got it. It's like the rear half of her calf has just been peeled down and it's disgusting. And because all the weeds and the vines and the seawater look so real and so dirty, it's like, oh gosh, I can feel that salt water getting in there. That's ouchy, you know? And like when she's straining to lift her son so he can get the kid from the tree and everything, it's like, oh, you can just imagine that. You can imagine the pain. You can feel it. And there's also kind of a theme of the loss of innocence for Tom Holland's character Lucas. He really is forced to step up and be a man here. A large part of this is Tom Holland's Lucas kind of gaining his independence. His mother Maria is in a very bad state. They make it to a hospital together and basically she has to go under, she has to have surgery for her chest injury, and that means that Lucas is kinda in it all on his own. So his story from there is kinda helping other people at the hospital find their loved ones, and just assisting and making himself useful, basically. Disaster has struck and he's stepped up, and I think that's another reason why Spider-Man fans are really gonna enjoy this, is it's a chance to see Tom Holland playing a role that kind of definitely demonstrates that he could really make a great Spider-Man before playing Spider-Man. I think the beginning of his sort of loss of childhood innocence is signaled quite well as well. Like, after that tsunami, he first sees his mother and her shirt is very damaged and, well, he sees some stuff he shouldn't see. She manages to get covered up, but it's like from that moment on, he's no longer this innocent little boy. He's no longer this kid that's been taken on the vacation of a lifetime for Christmas and had a splish-splosh about in the pool, making fun of his brother. He's gotta face hardships, he's gotta face disasters, he's gotta face some really horrible realities, such as accidentally seeing your mother's private parts. Once again, the scenes in the hospital are as uncompromising as the rest of the film is. Naomi Watts really sells well how her character Maria is succumbing to these injuries, and you can tell without them even saying it that she's kind of in a critical condition. But it looks like things have gone south, as Maria's bed is cleared out and a new patient is put in, and it seems as though she might have died. A doctor takes Lucas to one side, he looks at the medical records, and it would appear that she's gone. So then we cut to elsewhere. Henry, the father, has survived, as well as the two other sons, Thomas and Simon. So Henry leaves Thomas and Simon with another family to keep them safe, while he goes off looking for Maria and Lucas. So Henry meets another tourist named Carl, and the two work together to find Maria and Lucas, as well as Carl's family. Back at the medical facility, being a bit of a makeshift kind of a joint, basically Maria's medical chart was mixed up with another patient who had died. But Maria herself had had the surgery, in a private facility in the ICU. The child that Lucas rescued has now been reunited with his father, so that's a really nice warm outcome. Henry and Carl arrive at the medical center, and Henry and Lucas are reunited. And it's this really raw, really earned moment of relief. And Ewan McGregor and Tom Holland sell it endlessly. Maria recovers from the surgery, the family are fully reunited and sent back home. The ordeal is over, and they were lucky to survive. You might say it was impossible. Now, I guess you could argue that it's a bit contrived that everybody lived and everybody was okay, but remember, this is a true story. And I like how a film that kind of has you experience with these characters, this horrendous, horrible ordeal, has a lot of heart to it, and ultimately has a happy ending where everybody gets off just fine. Well, scarred for life mentally and probably physically, but still, they're alive, aren't they? This film has many of the kind of tropes that come with your average blockbuster in different genres. Like an action movie, this film is full of heroes, such as Lucas and Carl, who act selflessly to look out for others even if those people have nothing to do with them, which really gives this film a great sense of humanity and makes it a very likable film. Like, you will really like all of the people that you see in this film. There's no jackasses, there's no villain, but it also carries over some codes and conventions of the horror genre. It's very bloody, it's very gory. The tsunami in many ways is like a monster, this nasty force of nature just wiping everything out. And another code and convention of the horror genre is that in the end, everyone is okay. It's got a happy ending. I'm talking typical code and convention here. I know that there are exceptions. And in many ways, it's like a family film. It's the kind of film that makes you want to just message your family. Ask them if they're alright, how are they doing? Have they seen any big waves lately at the beach? Ask them if they ever intend to go to Thailand for a holiday. But again, everything in this film is just, it's the gold standard. It's directed incredibly well, the visuals and the cinematography feel grounded and real, they feel like you're actually experiencing it for real, like you're really there. The performers sell it really well, so all of the characters feel very real. This is about as good of a true disaster story for film as you're really gonna get. And I really do recommend this for all Tom Holland fans. I don't mean like the thirsty fangirl ones. I mean, he's a child in this movie. Fucking get help. But I mean, people that really appreciate his acting, really like his Spider-Man, this very much has echoes of that in this movie. It's echoes of things to come. I could definitely buy if maybe Sony Pictures and Marvel Studios, they saw this movie. Maybe this is the movie they saw and decided, yeah, that's our Spider-Man. He turns in a god-tier performance. Like, he still has his English accent here, but he's doing a lot of the things required to be that hero character, and he's selling it very well. Let's just say if I was the casting agent for Spider-Man and someone stuck his name down here and said, watch this movie, I'd say, yeah, just ask if he can do an American accent, and then I'd say he's got what it takes. Anyone watching this for Ewan McGregor, though, I would say he's not underutilized. He's playing the character the right amount in this film. Like, I can't fault it. But if you're watching this as a Ewan McGregor fan, you might be a little disappointed because he's not in this film very much, especially not in the first half. He's in this movie, but it's not really a Ewan McGregor movie. This is very much Tom Holland's movie. Now, if you appreciate historical accuracy and authenticity, Simon Jenkins, who actually survived this disaster, stated that the film was beautifully accurate, in response to critics calling the film overdramatic and whitewashed. Jenkins said that these reviews frustrated him. And this is where I really agree with Jenkins when he says that rather than concentrating on the privileged white visitors, the film really portrayed the profound sense of community and unity that he experienced in Thailand, with the Bennett family at the very heart of that. And that definitely comes across, as it is Thai people that are helping out the tourists in this movie. As I say, this movie is full of heroes, and that really cannot be understated. But what makes it all the better is that these are real-world heroes, everyday heroes, in a real-life tale of heroes. At the core of this movie is heart and family and compassion, which is why I recommend it to absolutely anybody. It is a must-see. What do you think, guys? Comment below and discuss, and as always, if you enjoyed this video and you want to see more like it, why don't you head over to channelpup.net, where you can visit our blog page, Dr. Blogtopus, but you can also buy merch, such as this tasteless t-shirt. And I mean, if you insist here, guys, maybe hit subscribe, maybe hit the like button, and in the description below are the links to my social media handles, including the Patreon, where your contribution can help me run this channel, and really keep it alive. That aside, I am really grateful that you checked out this video today. Thank you so much for watching, fellow home dog. See you on another video.